I know that there are businesses out there who do not spend a ton of time on social media and Facebook groups and all of these things, and they're making way more money than I am. And the reason is that they are focused on one thing every day that matters the most to them, and that is prospecting for their business. That is generating leads for their business. Hard stuff is actually growing your business, right? Like that's truly the hardest thing. So when we talk about lead generation, some people call it prospecting, some people call it lead generation. All depends on what you like to call it. And I think that either way, you got to do it. 61% of marketers say generating traffic and leads is their top challenge. Like it's like really hard. And it's not just you. Like everybody, this is hard for everybody. This is one of the hardest things that people have to do. So in my previous life, I ran two fairly decently sized real estate offices, brokerages. And with multiple offices, they're about anywhere from, depending on which office, brokerage we're talking about, because there was two of them, anywhere from 150 to about 200 agents. And so I did a lot of coaching with them and training and things like that. And the number one hardest thing to convince them of was to actually generate leads. It was to actually, put boots to ground and find new clients. It's the toughest thing to do because it's the most awkward thing to do because we don't like to sell, right? We don't like to be pushy or weird, or what if they say no? Like there's all this weird stuff that comes with that. It's a very real thing for everybody. So you're not the only one that feels like this. Everybody does, even me.
I know.
So I think, and honestly, I'm not the best at it. So one of my goals though is to get better. These are goals, right? So one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because at the end of this, I'm going to pick two to three things that I'm going to commit to and focus on. And I want you to do the same thing. Let's start talking about some of what that is. Okay. Because generating new leads every day is like a must do. It is a must do. Let me repeat that. It is a must do. You must generate new business every day. You must be focused on that. So you must be doing activities that are going to allow you to actually do that. You've got to stop wasting the time on doing the things that are not generating business. So if a whole week goes by and you haven't done an activity that is true lead generation, then you got to change things up. You have to. Okay. So let's talk about what some of that could be. One thing that I'm definitely doing is, and I've been back and forth on this. Like, I'm not going to lie. Having this Facebook group for me, well, I love it. And when I first started this Facebook group, I loved being in this Facebook group. I was in here all the time doing stuff. That was in 2018. And then what happened was I was doing exactly what I'm talking about. I loved being in the Facebook group and like sharing thoughts and ideas and lots of knowledge. I was spending so much time in this group, which was not the right use of my time. If I'm going to be in a Facebook group, if I'm going to own a Facebook group, I have to decide that I'm going to sell. Okay. That's just a reality. And I think, that for all of you, if you have a Facebook group, that's a reality you have to come to terms with, because there's no point in having a Facebook group if you're not going to make money off of it, right? If you're a small business. And it's like that for everything. Like I know a lot of people use Instagram, for instance. And while I think Instagram is super fun, I think it's a fun social network. And I know there are lots of people that definitely make money off of Instagram. I think that it's not the place to put all your eggs, right? Because I find that with Instagram, it's a very slow growth, because what happens is, you do it too, right? You get on there, you scroll, doubly tap, and on your way, right? We scroll, double tap, on our way. How often are they actually going to the link in your profile? Because that's what we need them to do. It's really about being smart about where you're spending your time. Okay, so there's that. Now let's go through some of the other things here. So on your, for instance, like on your Facebook group or on your links from your Instagram, if you're using that, or your Pinterest or whatever, you're on your website, what is the thing? Do you have a freebie that you're offering? Do you have a free thing that is exciting to get people on your list? And two parts to that. Do you have the freebie that's going to get them on your list, so you're generating leads from that? And number two, do you have a two-step? So we make it a two-step funnel. So step one is the landing page with the freebie. They get that. The thank you page is the second step. And it's a paid item. It's an upgrade. Generally it's no more than like $37. Okay. But it's like an upgrade. You can do it in a 3-step process too, but let's just talk 2 to keep you focused and it's easier. So what is that thing? And that's really important, I think, because having a really strong freebie with a great landing page and a great upsell allows you then to use Facebook ads or Google ads or Pinterest ads or YouTube ads or whatever it's going to be to spend the money a little bit more, because you're going to get money on that second step. Not everybody's going to buy the second step, but some people are. And it's going to cover your cost. So it's not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to make money, but it should balance you out. At a minimum, balance you out, and at a maximum, maybe not a maximum, but or give you a little bit more. But you should never be negative in your Facebook ad spend, because having a 2-step process like that should allow you to actually pay for those ads, right? So some other ideas. Things that I think are really, really valuable are getting in front of other people's audiences. I have signed up with a company to get me. They're like a podcast agency. So they get me on podcasts as a guest. Okay. So I think that is really valuable, right? So I can get in front of other people, other audiences, and they can hear me and my message and, how I talk and share and all that good stuff. So they can kind of feel my vibe and be like, I'm kind of digging her. I totally want to know more about her. I'm going to go to her landing page or website or whatever that is. So that's one thing. Guest posting. So if you're more of a writer,
ding, 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 ding.
That's awesome. Then, guest posting I think is really, really valuable, or being, a guest on other people's social networks, right? So taking over their social network for the day, or going into other Facebook groups and becoming a guest in a live. Having said that, what that does mean is that you actually have to connect with people and say to them, hey, hi, I would love to add value to your audience. So you actually have to sell yourself a little bit.
But you have to not worry that they're going to go, who the hell are you? I can't believe you even thought, because that's what I think. Maybe you don't think that, but that's what happens to me. I go, they're going to go, who the hell even are you that you're coming to me thinking that I'm going to want you on my show or my podcast or my Facebook group?
But the reality is, that's not what's happening. That's in my head. And anyone who does think that, well, they can kiss my butt, right? So
screw them. We don't need them anyway.
So there are way more people that are open and understanding that, we all want to grow our businesses. That's just how life is, right? So I think that's something to really, really think about. So choose your 2 to 3 social media channels that you're going to focus on, because, well, again, social media, I don't think that social media is not helpful. And I think it's really important to sort of be there. I do think, though, that you can't be everywhere. So I would say pick 2 to 3 and say, these are the 2 to 3 that I'm really going to focus on for the next, 3 months. Give something 3 months to see if you can get traction there, right? Give it a go, more than just a month that we're going to do today, but give it a real go for those, and pick your 2 to 3 and get very targeted and very focused about what you speak about. And make sure that if you don't necessarily, you're like, oh, I feel a bit uncomfortable at selling like a $400 package or program or whatever it is, at least start telling them about that freebie and get them on your list, right? So let's get them on the list and perhaps grabbing your one-time offer, the 2-step funnel that I talked about. So those are a couple of things that I'm going to be doing. All right. So that's it, guys. So have an amazing day, and I will see you next week.